Hello, this is a video on how to play the card game Smear. Smear has a lot, and I mean a lot of variations. And so what we'll be going over is a set of common rules. However, if you look at any resource, do be aware that the rules could wildly differ. Well, not wildly, but enough that it will drastically impact your gameplay. So Smear is also called Shamir, um, right? So you might hear both of those names. It's a trick-taking card game where points are won not by taking tricks, but by taking certain cards during the course of the hand. So by taking certain cards through tricks. Everyone is dealt 6 cards, as you can see. I have 6 cards here, and then places a bid based on how many points they think they can get. The high bidder gets to pick which suit will be trump and plays the first card. After all tricks have been played, points are awarded. Once someone reaches 11, or whatever score is agreed upon at the beginning of the game, then the game is over, and that player wins. Right, so in this case we are playing to 11, but you could pick any score, that's totally up to you. Right, 13, 15, totally up to you. So, let's take a bid on how many points we think we'll win. Um, how I don't really think I'll win that many points. And so I'll choose to pass. So I don't think I'll win many tricks, so I'll choose to pass there. So I submit my bid, right? And so now we must find out who the highest bidder is here. Now, keep in mind, okay, we'll talk about a variety of strategy here, but do note that after all tricks have been played, right, the winner of the game, after all tricks have been played, points are awarded, and the winner of the game is the player who reaches 11, or whatever score is agreed upon, right? Game ends, that player wins. So there are a maximum of 5 points per hand. However, not all points are actually possible to win in each hand. So there's the high point. A point is awarded for having the highest trump card. Um, taking the highest trump card, right? Um, but if the player who has the highest trump card will indeed take the highest trump card because there is no way to lose it. There is a low point for having the lowest trump card. The player who has dealt the lowest card of trump automatically wins the point. There is no requirement to take the card, right? If you're dealt it, you win the point. You don't have to win the card in a trick. In fact, it is only given to the player who gets it dealt, not the player who takes it in the trick. The jack point is awarded for the jack of trump. The player who wins the jack of trump in a trick receives the point. And then there is also the jick point. The jick is a point awarded for the jack of the same color as the trump. For example, it's the jack of the off trump. So if trump is hearts, the jack of diamonds is the jick, right? Or the jack of the off trump. We'll just call it the jick. The jick is regarded as trump, not the suit shown as a card. The player who wins jick in a trick receives the point. So for the jack and the jick, you have to win it in the trick to receive the point. For the high and the low trump, it's if you are dealt it, right? Jick is the jack of the off suit from the trump, right, of the same color, but of the other suit, and it counts as being part of the trump suit. So if someone plays a jick and leads with a jick, you are expected to lead with the trump suit. Certain cards are assigned game points. So the 10 is worth 10 game points, the ace is worth 4 game points, the king is worth 3 game points, the queen is worth 2 game points, the jack is worth 1 game point. The 5th point can be obtained through game. At the end of the hand, each player adds up the game points. The player with the most game points from the tricks they have won is awarded a singular point as they have won that hand, and so they win a singular point for it. So, bidding. The player after the dealer in a clockwise rotation is the first to bid. Each player bids however many points they think they will win in the bid. The high bidder gets to pick trump and lead the first card. Each player only bids once. Raising a bid is not allowed. So you can't go back in a cycle and you can't just bid really low and be like, "Oh, okay, I'll just have another opportunity to bid if another player beats me." No. You don't have another opportunity to bid. So make sure if you are going to bid what you think will win you the bid because you do not get another opportunity. So, playing a trick, the bidder leads the first trick, then the winner of each trick leads the next trick. So Harry led the trick. Okay, and now it's my turn to play. Right, imagine that we are sitting in a clock configuration. So it's my turn to play. And so the bidder leads the first trick. And do note, you don't have to play with 4 players. You can play with 2, 3. Um, I believe you can also manage to play with 5. Any higher, it does get a bit harder. So, right, standard trick taking rules apply. Players are required to follow suit. If you do not have a card of the lead suit, you may play um, if you do not have sorry, you must follow lead suit unless you have a trump. A trump can be played at any time. Even if you have a card of the lead suit, you can choose to play a trump. So you have to follow the lead suit unless you have a trump. Um, the winner of the trick is the player with the highest ranking card. Sorry, you have to follow the lead suit unless you choose to play a trump. Right? If you have no card of the lead suit, then you don't have to play a trump. So I know that is confusing. Basically, if you have a trump, you can play it at any time. If you don't have a card of the lead suit, you can play a card of any suit. The winner of the trick is the player who played the highest ranking card in the trump suit. If no trump card was played, the winner of the trick is the player with the highest ranking card in the lead suit. And a player is allowed to trump at any time, right? So you must follow lead suit whenever possible, with the exception of trump, which can be played at any time. So the order of trump, right, is the same as the order of the rest of the cards, with ace being the highest and 2 being the lowest. Do note that there is an additional card, right? The jick is part of trump, and so it's ace, king, queen, jack, jick. So the jick is ranked lower than the jack of trump and higher, or aka the main jack, right? You could call the jick the off jack. So it's ranked below the main jack above the 10 of trump. So keep playing like that, right? Keeping in mind the objective of Samir is simply to keep playing, right? Each player is dealt 6 cards, and you want to win the high trump, or sorry, you want to win the jack of trump, the jick of trump, as well as the most game points. So in this case, an ace was played. We'll um do our best to win the trick. I do have a heart, right? So I cannot play. I can't just play a 7 of spades, right? Why? Because I do have a card from the lead suit, so I'll have to play my queen. So in this case, I played my queen of hearts. Claude played the 4 of spades. Barak played the 4 of hearts. Here he had the highest ranking card. Here he takes trick. So here you led with spades. I have to lead with spades here. So as you can see, you simply continue playing like so. Here you led with hearts. I don't have a heart. So Brock took the trick here. Brock led with the diamonds. I do have a diamond. I took the trick, right? That's my turn to play. We'll lead with a spade here. Hopefully, yeah, we lost the trick. So we had a pretty bad hand there. So let us talk about the results of the hand, okay? So me or Claude didn't even take a single game point. So we didn't take a 10, ace, king, queen, or jack, right? Claude took none either. Brock took 17 game points. So that's 1 point, right? Brock won the game point because Brock had the most game points. So they won the singular game point. Harry bid 2 points there. And so since Harry bid 2 points, right? And I mean the amount you bid is important for scoring, and we'll talk about that here, right? And so when you're taking tricks, just keep an eye out for the special cards, and you want to try to win as many game points as you can. In terms of bidding, or sorry, scoring, if the bidder won at least as many points as was bid, those points are added to the bidder's score. In this case, Harry bid 2, Harry scored 2 points, therefore Harry won at least as many points as was bid, so 2 points are added to Harry's score. If the bidder won less points than was bid, if the bidder wins at least as many points as was bid, then whatever many points they won are added to the bidder's score. So let's say Harry won 5 points here, then Harry would add 5 points to their score. You just have to meet the minimum. Essentially, if you meet the minimum, which is the amount you bid, then you get to keep all the points you scored in that hand. If the bidder won less points than was bid, the bidder is set and the bid is subtracted from the bidder's score, right? So if Harry only won 1 bid, then Harry would lose 2 points. Any other players who won points during the hand have those points added to their scores, right? But the bidder has the condition that they must meet their bid to keep their points. If they don't meet their bid, they subtract the value of their bid from their score. Winning. At the start of the game, players choose a number of points to play to. This could be anything, right? The greater the number of points you choose, um, the the greater the number of hands you must play. Um, so, it's just typical for Smear to choose odd numbers as a target, right? So 11, we chose 11 here. Players sometimes choose 21. They sometimes choose 15. It's just tradition to choose an odd number, but it's totally up to you, right? If you want to play till 10, for example. So, once the first player's score matches or exceeds the bid you played, the game is over and that player wins. Okay. Do note that score is only counted at the end of the round, and so if while you're playing you take a special card, right? So one of the cards that have point values, and you meet the, I guess, target score, you can't just end the game immediately. You finish the hand, then you add points to your score. If the bidder and one or more other players all go over on the same hand, the bidder always wins, regardless of who has more points, right? And so, let's say multiple players both go over the target score in the same round. The player who bid is the one who would win. If, for some reason, multiple players go over the target score in a round, and none of them were the players who were bidding, then the player with more points wins. So, essentially, let me sum that up because that was sort of complicated. If multiple players have met the target score after the round, you first look and see, was any of those players the bidder in the previous round? If they were, they win the game. If not, you then look at whoever has the most points. That is the second tie breaking, I guess, criteria, and that player with the most points, right, wins the game. If, okay, you have two players who have both met the target score, and for some reason, none of them is the bidder, and they both have the exact same score, you play another tiebreaker round with everyone in the game. Regardless, not just the people who are tied, everyone else as well. Okay. So that's essentially how to play Smear. What we're going to do now is play a quick demo round, just so you can sort of understand the gist of the game, right? Um, But other than that, it should be quite simple. So we're going to start our next hand here. Okay, looking at my hand, I have pretty low value cards, right? Typically, I say only bid if you have an overwhelmingly number of cards, or sorry, an overwhelming number of cards that are 9 or higher in a singular suit, right? Because you do have to pick trump as well. In this case, we don't, so we'll pass. Trump is diamonds. Trump was led by Brock. I have a diamond. I have to play. Brock took the trick, right? And so since Brock had a queen there, let us just talk about the game point scoring one more time, right? That's 2 game points right there, right? Brock led a diamond. I don't have a diamond. I'll just play my 5. Sorry, Trump was diamonds, but I don't have a diamond here. And so I have to play the jick, right? The jick is the off jack, right? Since Trump is diamonds, the off jack is the jack of hearts. So I'll have to play my jick here. And I will take, no, Claude took it anyway, so my jick was useless. That's okay. That is unfortunate, but that's how it is, right? Haven't been really getting a good hand here. So we'll continue playing. That's a queen, right? That has a game point value of 2. A jack has a game point value of 1. King 3, ace 4, 10 is 10. Right, and so the 10s are quite beneficial to take, right? Because they do have a large game point value. Every point you can get is valuable. So I got 0 game points. I got a 0 game points, and I didn't even get any of these other cards. Claude won the most game points. Claude won the high trump, right? So he was dealt the high trump. Claude was dealt the jick. Sorry, won the jick through a trick, and Claude won the most game points. So that's 3 points right there. Since Brock bid 2, but only scored 1 point, Brock subtracts 2 from his score. So Brock then is at -1. Harry did quite poorly as well. So as you can see, Smear is quite a simple game. It's similar to Pitch, right? And so that wraps up how to play the card game Smear. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.